Yeah.
Whatever works here.
Okay. So
Hopefully,
yeah.
just
So
having
we're
a good
gonna be.
conversation. And I've done a little bit of research on your stuff. So do you, I guess, call yourself a comedian?
I call myself a comedian because I'm a pussy. Yeah. I'm
Because
afraid to.
you're a pussy.
I'm
So
afraid to.
what kind of comedy do you do? Is this like stand up? Is it like satirical? What kind of work do you do?
Sure, a little bit of both. I've done stand up, but I mostly consider my podcast a comedy show. So that's the comedy is me talking about stuff and then kind of just making jokes about it and stuff like that. Because like I said, I'm too afraid to be as serious as a lot of you pundits and political commentators and stuff. You guys really own your words, you know. I hide behind the comedian thing where if I say something that's too crazy accidentally or I actually believed it and then kind of later reconsidered it, I like to be like, oh, it was just a joke, and then it's like a free get out of jail free pass, you know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've got a couple comedian friends as well. It's like they can always play that card. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, Theo Vaughn, for instance, like
yeah,
Dave Smith, like guys like that, which is pretty cool though, because it's like you're taking two different fields, you kind of blend them together. I wouldn't consider myself to be a comedian, although I would like to get into something like that eventually. That's pretty. I feel
yeah,
like nowadays, like you can almost turn anything into comedy. That's like, because even
yeah,
like you said, like political punditry and commentary, like yeah, there's a lot of like straight face serious guys. Like I'll admit I'm probably one of those guys the majority of
yeah.
the time, but it's still a lot of fun though. There's still like a whole lot of I'd call it retard maxing. Honestly, that's kind of what it is. Like it's just
Totally.
like not giving a fuck, just saying you know what, like
Yeah,
it is what it is, and
yeah, yeah. And
just gonna wing it.
yeah, when you talk about a lot of this stuff, this is just my opinion, right, and why I do it this way. But I feel like it's best to keep a little bit of a light heart to do with all of it when you're talking about it and never be like, hey, this is the solution. Because I don't know, in my opinion, man, like I do talk about politics a lot, but I feel like the whole point of it is that there's back and forth and there's arguments, and that is what kind of what the system is made for. There's not meant to be a solution where it's like, hey, the right is right all the time. You know, sometimes the right is right, sometimes the left is right, and you know, it just depends on what's happening in society. You know what I'm saying? And because I see it like that, I think, okay, it's best let's keep a light heart because I could be saying some stuff that's damn like good. Like, hey, right now we need to stop affirming trans people. Like right
Yeah.
now, that's probably a fair thing to say. But like 50 years from now, you know, not maybe not 50 years from now, but like let's say 150 years from now, the whole world does turn into a, you know, one race, weird gay planet. Then it might be weird to say, oh, you know, trans people are bad. Or not that trans people are bad, but that like we shouldn't affirm them. Because we never know what's going to happen in the future. You know, sorry, I'm rambling here.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
no, so
what's going
that's
on,
interesting
man?
because, and so you are a Canadian citizen, right? Like you're a resident, you live there for sure.
Yes.
Oh, cool. So like, obviously, you guys don't have a First Amendment. You don't have. I don't even think you guys are really, uh, I guess, open with guns. You guys don't have any. I think you guys actually took a lot of guns away, to my
We
understanding.
recently, yeah, exactly. We recently got like this new guy in the government. He is, I believe, Indian, and he didn't even know what the gun safety course was like because you know how they question those guys before they get their jobs and stuff. There's a video of him not even knowing like what the main gun safety course was, and they're doing, I think right now they're doing a gun grab, they're doing a buyback where they're trying to get people to turn in certain types of guns that have been deemed illegal now in Canada. I don't know, man. It's crazy because there's a lot of hunting, like we hunt a lot. It's nice to have a gun in your house just in case if you need it, even though if you shoot somebody for breaking into your house in Canada you'll probably go to jail. But it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
I don't know, it's a
yeah.
huge
That's
problem.
that really. I must say, it really does separate the United States and Canada. It's like that's why I'm at least like really grateful, even though like there's a lot of tyranny in the United States, a lot of subversion, a lot of corruption. I will say like we do still, at least today, have the First and Second Amendment that I really don't think any other countries can compare to. So like, but when it comes to like just speaking out regularly or just things you would do in America, like are you like restricted, like, or do you have to like self censor yourself because the parliamentary
Well,
system in Canada, or your guys like
um
how what does that work with like the consequences of content creation, or like what is the boundaries of what you're able to do?
hmm I imagine there's boundaries. I haven't seen too many of them yet, like where like because I'm just a little guy. Like I feel like once you maybe start having more influence, you might start seeing some problems with that. But I haven't had any problems yet. The biggest problems I've had is pretty much with social media companies being too like their AI softwares for censoring not properly working. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll
Yeah.
have a guy, come on to my video and like call me the like comment on my video, call me the N word, and I'll like report him, and then I'll get an update. It says we've updated your support request, and it was rejected, and then I'll go on somebody else's thing and say like, you know, oh, I don't think you did that very well, or I'll say something very small, and then I'll get a report, and then my chat will be blocked for a week. And I'm like, how is this? What is the computer doing to analyze this where it's getting it that wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the algorithm's really changing. And honestly, I don't know what's going on, especially with like the moderation with Meta and X. Like, I think it's pretty clear they've been lenient on a lot of things they in previous years weren't. Like
True.
for instance, like the N word, like you can that's
Yeah.
pretty much like free game. I mean, I see
Yeah.
like Instagram reels where like someone will say like F this, like we'll literally have like 7 to 12 like vulgarities in one video.
Yeah.
And it gets actually pushed in the feed, so it gets
Yeah.
like 400,000 likes, 8 million views.
Yeah.
And whereas in literally 2 3 years ago, especially before Trump, I mean, you would have had your account nuked just by doing that once.
True.
So
It has gotten better. I do completely agree with you. By the way, we didn't do any kind of intro or anything, so let me just quickly say, for everybody out there, we are talking with Kacee Allen today. You've got like the name of an NFL quarterback or something. Kacee Allen just sounds like an NFL quarterback, you know?
really, I like that. This
Um,
is the first I've heard of that one.
you are the host of the Kacee Allen Show, which is your show. I was looking around at your stuff. I think you make some very interesting videos. You put your opinions out there, and then I popped over to your YouTube, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's got 15K subscribers. This guy's been putting in work. So
Sure, thank you.
yeah, man, thanks for talking with me today, and yeah, it's been nice meeting you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So actually, you're the second Canadian podcast I've ever been on. I've never interviewed a Canadian on my show, but I did an interview about 2 years ago with a guy named Dale Richardson, his daughter. He's a tech guy. But yeah, so it's very interesting to talk to people with different backgrounds, especially outside the United States, because I think that's really important, especially like from my perspective and what I want to know, like how do especially the countries in our hemisphere and that literally border us, like how do they feel about
Yeah.
the Trump regime and everything going on? Because at least in my position, who voted for Trump, who did actually push these policies for the past 10 years, now feels betrayed by that very system
Hmm.
that actually was with me at one point, or I helped them. So I think that's kind of a big sentiment right now, especially with
Yeah.
younger voters, my generation, 25 and below. You're seeing a lot of a lot of backlash out of a lot of the policies we've seen in the United States.
Yeah.
So as a Canadian yourself, how do you feel about, or what's your guys? I guess your individual perspective, and what as a on a macro level, like what's your guys' perception of America, Trump, everything going on right now?
Yeah, let's talk about that, dude. I love it. You're asking me questions. I'm not used to getting asked questions. It's awesome. We will touch back on the Trump thing, and I'll tell you a little bit about my opinions. You can bet on that.
For
I'm
sure.
curious. I've got a couple quantitative questions that I'm curious about for you. Like,
Yeah.
how many episodes of your show do you think you've done?
So today would have been, well, I'm going to do one later, probably after this, but 114. We did one last night. So 114 in 3 years. We're picking up pretty consistently now. For a while, it was like once a week, once a month,
Yep.
just starting out before I had a studio. I mean, it was actually funny. The first 10 to 15 shows I did outside. So I called it the Outdoor Podcast.
Yeah.
Completely like unfiltered, just like hardly any tool. I mean, it was just like off the cusp. And I got a couple thousand views from a couple videos. I was like, okay, I'll just keep doing it. And I started putting in more work, started to figure out how to edit. And I started networking, distribution,
Yeah.
YouTube thumbnails, just the whole game. I started learning that over the past couple years. And I still wouldn't say I'm an expert. I would say I'm getting close. I'm getting pretty, I mean, I have a pretty successful channel, but I will
Yeah.
say figuring out, cracking the code of the search engine optimization and the keywords and all that stuff, that is the hardest obstacle. It's
Okay.
literally like you're talking about simple, small things where someone has a lot of talent and a lot of hard work. Can be easily fixed over time with
Yeah.
just a little tune-up. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've done. I've just been grinding the last couple of years.
Nice,
Got
man. Good for
monetized on
you.
YouTube about a year ago in the partner program. So
Very cool.
yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I've experienced the last couple of years from COVID to the Biden regime to the second Trump regime. That's kind of what got me started in all this.
Yeah. How can
Uh,
you not though? I mean, the COVID just I feel like it made me just start to take some jumps too. I mean, yeah, I get
yeah,
those search engine or optimization emails. I get one like every day from people like, "Oh, hey, you can fix this and fix that." I think that the website that I use, I don't want to get too inside baseball with technical stuff here, but I think that the website company that I use does that automatically, but I'm not really sure. So
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot. The thing is, what's cool about AI, it's a really big game changer right now because if you can
totally.
utilize AI to do tasks for you, whether it's thumbnails, posting, distribution, like that's what's going to be the game changer. And I think that's
Yeah.
it's going to get people to the top in this
Yeah.
day of age.
I would be nice if I could use AI to actually do some stuff for me too. You know what I've been, the only way I can use it so far, the thing that's come up for me is on YouTube. They have like an AI thing where you can, once you put up your pod, you can get AI to summarize it and you can be like, you can ask it anything. You can be like, what moment in the podcast had the most laughter? Bingo. And then you can just make your clip. So that's worked out pretty good for me. But yeah, so you've done about 120 episodes. I've done about 160. And I tell you, man, isn't it funny? After you really get over like 100, you find a stride, you've already built a character. And it's just like, it makes it so much easier to talk to people. When I look back to 8 years ago when I started it, I was just like a baby. I was like, I didn't even know what I thought. I'd never taken the thoughts out of my head and put them out there. And then it's like, once you do that, it's very freeing, and it's fun and but then it makes you look at other people who don't do any work in that area and you really realize how primitive a lot of other people's views can be. And I'm not trying to insult everybody out there who has views. We're all entitled to our views, but really the more you talk about it, and it's amazing how much you can improve on things that you just thought you had figured out you know
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, it becomes a lifestyle after a while. Like you said, you get after that 100 episode hump, which I got in the past couple of months. Like I said, I've been grinding like 4 episodes a week, five,
Wow.
six sometimes. And that's really started to accumulate, as you know, like week by week, rather than doing just one or two a month.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I said, it's not even really character with me. I just say it's like I'm the same on camera as I am off. Like I'm not really playing a persona here. This is what I
Fair enough.
believe. I have very strong, bold
Yeah.
beliefs,
Yeah.
and I'm tackling the system
Yeah.
on all fronts. So,
That's
and I'm
good.
fearless when it comes to it.
That's good. That's good. And yeah, what I meant by building a character, I wasn't meaning it more so in like a caricature. I was meaning like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, of course,
I
yeah.
agree with you. And yeah, for me, but my point was I like didn't even have a character built for myself. Like I didn't know who I was until I started actually expressing it. So back to what we were talking about. Like you wanted to know some of my views about politics, and because we are neighboring countries, and people
Hmm.
sometimes, a lot of times, I get people commenting on my thing and being like, you're Canadian. Why do you care so much about American stuff? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're neighbors. Basically, whatever the United States says goes for us too. Or so because you guys kind of control us. So at the end of the day, it's important for me to know what you guys are up to and what's going on over there. You know?
100%. I mean, we are, whether anyone likes it or not, we're the global empire in
Yeah.
America, and I think that empire has done good, but it's also done a lot of bad.
Yeah.
We talk about foreign intervention. We talk about, I mean, I guess when it comes to Canada, I think the prime, I guess, controversy or the really what kind of I guess sets people apart is the tariffs and the trade deals. Because having Canada as a trade partner, I believe as an American, I think is extremely important. Obviously, we have to keep somewhat good relationships or relations with them, and I think I think the 51st state thing is a bit of a stretch. I do respect your guys' right to your sovereignty as a nation. Although if you guys like, I'm totally not against if you guys ever did want to join the United
Yeah.
States.
I'd
I
want
do
to join.
think your guys' GDP at $2 trillion.
Yeah.
We cut out the tariffs. I think things like milk, goats, wool, like things that basically are the tariff for right now. That you could actually say that you guys in some cases are actually undercutting American trade with. Because for instance, like you guys tariff us on milk, we don't tariff you guys on milk, and that's where me as a populist, I'm like, look, I generally like free trade as long as it doesn't hurt America, right? As long
Yeah.
as it's actually free and fair trade.
Yeah.
Again, that's a completely nuanced topic, but that just from my perspective, I think that's like one of the biggest controversies right now with the United States and Canada. Obviously, the 51st state and the trade war. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there anything else
No,
that you
no,
guys or animosity you guys feel towards the United States?
no, not at all. You're doing great. You're doing great. I agree with everything, like some of the things you're saying, and like I do. I wish that our countries could just have free trade and cut the tariffs out. Sorry, one moment, one moment.
You're good.
My little kitty's being an annoying bugger here. All right, today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Rolls Rice Meal Prep Service, specialty rice and proteins, weekly soup options. This is a great company. I've known the owner for my whole life. He is just a quality person, great cook. So if you are sick of cooking and you want to get somebody to make you delicious meals that you can have delivered to your house, or you can also do them on pickup, you can find Rolls Rice on Instagram at Rolls Rice YXC. You can just contact them by phone. Send them a text if you want, 306 291 5779. Or you can scan the logo on the screen here, and I think it'll bring you right to their website. I eat them every day. They're delicious. I just had a salmon one today. Big portions, cheap prices. So, yeah, go and check out this food if you want to get some delicious food and you want to stay healthy. And yeah, we thank Rolls Rice for supporting this episode of the Canadian Talk podcast.
Oh, there we go.
Do
Oh,
you,
one second.
do you have any pets?
I do. Can you still see me there?
I can see you. You're perfect. It went up a
Perfect.
bit though. If you wanted your hands in there, I was liking the manosphere diamond in the shot. So
Oh,
it's like,
nice.
do
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I actually I'll switch it a little bit later in the show. I actually had to plug in my phone because it's in a weird, it's like an awkward spot.
Okay.
If you can still see me all good and
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, you're totally fine still.
Perfect.
Um,
But yeah, back to what you're saying. Yeah, so I have when I lived with my parents, I had a dog, or I still have a dog. His name's Jax. He's a golden retriever Maltese mix. So it's like picture like a golden retriever, but like really small. It almost looks weird. Like, but
really, I think I've seen one of those before. Yeah, that.
yeah, they're starting to be a little more common. But no, I love animals. I don't have any pets myself at the moment. But yeah, no, I think a big supporter of protecting animals, animal rights, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Always had a soft spot for animals.
Yeah. I mean, I wish people would stop taking pharmaceuticals for their depression and just start getting dogs. You know?
Seriously, I mean, I think anything, or I think a dog would do 10 times the amount of medication, than some of these crazy,
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce some of these drugs I'm
Yeah.
seeing nowadays. It's just
Oh.
absolutely crazy. I just see like what the side effects are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, loss of appetite, depression, um, chronic pain, severe mental illness. It's like, well, why would you want to take, why would you want to fix one problem by giving yourself seven more? It's like, that's,
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea, and it's been hard. Like I've seen even friends over the years that it's like they are one way, and then they're told, "Oh, you shouldn't be that way." Then they start taking these pills, and their whole personality changes, and it's like, geez, I don't like that. You know? I,
yeah, I mean, I've seen some things that are like, I mean, me personally, I used to be on Adderall when I was in high school. I think it can. I think some of these things can be beneficial for people with certain brains. I think it's, I really think some people's brains are wired differently. But for the most part, I think it's totally been exploited. These pharmaceutical companies are creating the problem by working with the food chains and creating the water supply with the BPA and the fluoride, and we're getting folic acid and feeding kids like Eggo waffles, and then wonder why they have ADHD and they can't focus and they have to go to the doctors, and then
yeah,
they're dependent on stimulants. Or again, I'm not like anti like drug whatever. I'm free choice, but it's like I do feel like a majority of this though has been manipulated and it's been more harmful than good. At least in
yeah.
America, I'm sure the opioid and the whole, I guess the pharmaceutical epidemic is probably bad in Canada too,
Yeah.
right?
The only pushback I'd have for anything like that is, as I agree with you on a lot of that stuff. It's just that the only argument against it would be that like the population is as big as it's ever been, and these us mass producing Eggo waffles or whatever it may be, some of these bad food choices that poorer people have to make, it's really just to keep them alive. I mean, because we wouldn't have had so many people before, we wouldn't have needed. And at the end of the day, too, you can choose to go buy something not in a box. Like if you're buying food that's in a box, you're dumb, and like maybe you deserve to get poisoned a little bit by your food. Like I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like you reap what you sow. But I would
yeah,
say, like, let's just say, for in perspective, like, let's just say that your children, who doesn't have the ability to make that choice, end up being fed that. Again, it is blamed on the parents and the food processors, but at the same time, it's like that child or that someone who isn't capable of making that decision is going to be inevitably hurt with that, and be going to deal with the consequences of
yeah,
whatever that is with loss of focus,
yeah,
whatever that may be. But the thing I noticed though is you can look at the numbers, especially in America. Uh, the number of kids that are like 18 and below are taking pharmaceutical drugs like at astronomical rates. I think it's like I have to get the correct statistics here, but I think it's like literally 50% increase or 70% increase just in
Yeah.
the past 5 to 6 years,
Yeah,
or
I
I
buy
guess the
that.
beginning of this decade since COVID.
Yeah, I
Which
definitely.
yeah,
It's too bad.
yeah, I'm sure COVID was probably because people fail to realize the big picture here. It's like it's not like this problem, whatever it is, didn't start overnight. It's like this has been going on for a long time. There's been a lot of turmoil, especially around the world. I think this decade that people still kind of forget, like to look back and really, I guess, encapsulate what actually happened there. Because I mean, in America, you got to think like this whole decade. We started with the COVID lockdowns, with the Black Lives Matter riots, the 2020 stolen election, January 6th, the Biden regime, people getting arrested for attending church and social distancing,
Yeah. That had
Trump
bad. That
actually
had.
winning again. I mean, it's absolutely been insane. This has been
Yeah.
like, I think what I'm going to do once this is said and done, I'm going to write a book on the 2020s. I guess this
Yeah.
has to be one of the most consequential decades I think in this century, in
I
my opinion.
completely agree. It's been great for guys like you and me because of all the wild stuff going on in the world. It is crazy. Yeah, and I agree with you on people not really fully understanding the psychological effect that the mismanagement of COVID had. Like, I mean, I'm glad to see that because they do sure they do this every 10 years with these bullshit pandemics, but like I'm glad to kind of finally see that a bit of an opposition formed in saying like no, this is bullshit, guys. Because in the past there was almost even less opposition to the pharmaceutical companies like bullshitting, pushing out these pandemics and just like making billions of dollars off it. So it is good to see some more pushback. It is crazy that Trump won again, which leads me to my question. First, before I ask you about how Trump has let you down, I want to know some of those things from you. But first thing is
Mm-hmm.
I want to lighten it up a bit and ask you a little bit about this manosphere thing. Because I see that you do the pose. I'm not sure if it's ironically with the hand, right? Like I just recently watched that documentary on Netflix about the manosphere stuff. So,
Yeah.
do you consider yourself like a part of the manosphere, or so do you consider yourself part of the manosphere? And who are some of the podcasts you like to listen to? Who are your guys out there on the internet?
So I wouldn't directly consider myself part of the manosphere. I would say I'm a sect of that. I'm the red pill sect of the people that
Okay.
just really pushing truth. And that again, it's pretty nuanced. So it's not just truth of like politics and conspiracy. It's feminism. It's the economy, finance,
Yeah.
world relations. So it's kind of like that's really my part of the manosphere. I mean, I don't really get into the more of the I call it like the Chad activities, like
Okay.
flexing all the time, trying to the Ferraris, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, no hate against that kind of lifestyle.
So it
I
sounds
think
like
some
you're
of the
just a
guys like
journalist
Andrew
then.
Tate, Myron Gaines, I think they've a lot of people will call them like misogynists or they've done a lot of
Yeah.
harm to the youth. Well, I think it's actually the opposite. I think they've woken up millions of young men who are not going to listen to the government. They're not going to take bullshit. They're going to wake up every day and they're going to do their 100 push-ups. They're going to go to the gym. They're going to be motivated to make as much money as they can, not be lazy. I mean, how can you say all those things together that they're not a net positive? Of course they
Yeah.
are. I mean, again, you can
Those are the
disagree. You can
sure.
disagree because I'm a Catholic. I think the promiscuity with women. I think that can be. It's not in the doctrine of what I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me get
but
a few
again,
words in.
I do. I think the whole saying "Chad will be Chad." So
Yeah, yeah. It's like well, it's like a little psychological Eggo waffle for their brain. You know, like there's this growing group of men that needs more representation in the media, right? And you look at an
mm,
Andrew Tate and you can complain about this or that about him, but really he's just an Eggo waffle. It's going to get you full. It's going to fill up your brain, and it can be good for you. It fills you up for that day. You can go and live your day. So it's like, it is what it is. Shit, I had a few questions and then sorry, it's hard on video podcasting to have a bit more of a back and forth, hey?
yeah, so it's funny. I usually have like 20 questions. That's my forte when I do my podcast. Kind of my inside little deal there. I get 20 questions and I just go out of order the entire time.
Yeah, me too. I used to do no script whatsoever and now I do a little list, but I a lot of times with good talkers like you, I barely touch the list at all. So, okay, so question
You
for you.
said you said the man. So you're talking about the manosphere. You wanted to ask me about that. I said, yeah, I'm part of the red pill and a faction of that, but not
Yes,
fully
yes.
embraced by it.
Yes. So just some information for me, right? So I heard the red pill thing, and I've heard the black pill thing. What are the
Mhm.
differences? What do they mean exactly? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so you have to go back to the original pills. So you have the red and the blue pill from the movie called The Matrix. Have you heard of The Matrix?
Yes.
Okay, so if you understand that analogy, it's basically that you have a choice to take the blue pill, which will leave you in the same reality that you're at now. You're basically accepting not to see the truth for what it is, and you're choosing to stay exactly the same, what you would consider to be a normie or an NPC. Now, the red pill is taking the truth pill is what I call it. Is you're accepting reality for the adversity for what it is, and you want, no matter how hard and how terrible the truth is, your goal is to get to the bottom of that.
Fair enough.
Now, when you talk about the black and the white pills, a black pill is more of a, you see the adversity ahead of you, but there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the white pill is, you see the adversity ahead of you, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I see. I see. Okay.
And I would consider myself to be white pilled. I think that you have to see the adversity that lies ahead of you, but you also have to see that there's hope, and you can combat that um,
Yeah,
with faith and, I guess, with your own volition. Like, that's really, it's what it is. It's adversity. You're going up against an entire regime or an empire,
for sure.
and one man can save it if you really believe it.
For sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. I really get so exhausted of people that are just pathologically pessimistic all the time. I feel as though I see it more with the people I talk to on the left, currently anyway. So that isn't a good thing for the left, but yeah, I see what you mean. I hear you. That's interesting. Now I understand the pills better. I didn't. Yeah, I figured the red and blue one was a reference directly to Matrix, but I didn't know the white or black one. So yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for that.
there's one more though. There's a clear pill. That's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of a newer. It's kind of like a joke, but it's like, it's a literally just a clear pill. It's just kind of like saying like the stupid
Oh,
pill. It's like you're like, you're an idiot, basically, is what
oh
is
yeah.
what it's saying. But
The clear pill is
um,
just the agnostic one where it's just like, oh, I don't care about anything. Those people
yeah.
also upset me too. I don't like it when people don't care about anything. Um,
Oh, for
so
sure. Yeah, yeah. Never, nothing good comes out of that one.
yeah, so let's get down into your bread and butter a little bit more here. So, you talked about Trump and how you voted for Trump, and then you're kind of being let down a little bit. And I've talked to some guys who were kind of like you, but definitely not you. But where they talk a little bit about this stuff to do with Trump and how it's not good enough, and they talk a lot about Israel and that kind of stuff. I don't know a whole lot about that. I always believe that there is a little bit of merit to the idea that there is naturally going to be people at the very top of the hierarchies in our societies that are going to have control over this or that. But then again, I do like to be a little bit white pilled about that, where I go, I kind of trust them. They're doing their best. They're making the Eggo waffles to keep the poor people fed, and they're making the strip loins to keep you and I fed. So it's like everything's fine. Make our own choices. But tell me a little bit about this, and inform me about what's going on and
Yeah, yeah. So would it be easier to go back to the beginning where I was actually supporting Trump in the previous election? Yeah.
Sure,
So
yeah.
in
Start from the beginning. Start from the beginning. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, from the very beginning. So as President Donald Trump was 2016 to 2020. He obviously did not win in 2020. Now, whether that was a stolen election, that's still up for debate. He ended up running again in 2024. It looked like from probably the very beginning, because of how much he was persecuted after January 6th, after the lawsuits, that he was likely going to win, because it was an absolute sham. At least I would say two to three, maybe even all the lawsuits against him were just completely made up and just used out of
Yeah. No,
proportion.
I agree. They're made up.
Uh,
Can I just say one quick point?
for sure.
I'm totally with you on this, the whole 2020 election thing. I've done tons of pieces on this, like where I put together little monologues about it. One of the things that's most compelling to me is I couldn't believe the vote, just because I'm a numbers guy. And when I
Hmm.
saw that Biden had, like, it was something like 84, 86 million votes, and that had never happened before in history, that many votes. And when I looked at all the different elections back like 20, 40 years, and the total amount of votes were like around 150 million total, something like that. Usually 60 over here, 70 over here. And then on that one year, there was basically 15 to 20 million votes that just came up out of nowhere, where it's like, how did that happen? So that I think that just
Yeah.
points to some fuckery right there, just
Yeah,
purely
so that's
looking.
the biggest anomaly there. Even to me, like, I think that's why I'm really skeptical about it still. It's because, yeah, we had, I think, 70% mail-in votes, and all of a sudden overnight, Trump looked like he was going to win, and then
Yeah.
boom, like, it shot up
Yep.
for Biden.
I
And
had the
then
same problem. I watched it all day and I went to sleep and I was like, okay, it's pretty much tied. Let's see what happens. I'll see tomorrow morning. And then all of a sudden, Wisconsin and those areas, they had mail in votes. You can put to the side all that stuff to do with like whether or not they were properly verifying voters and all that type of stuff with the mail in. But it's just like, where the heck did all those votes come from in those central northern states in the middle of the night out of nowhere, and all of a sudden Biden's ahead by 10 million, 12 million votes out of nowhere. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
I will say it sounded crazy flat on its face, but I would say kind of in hindsight, looking back now, I will say I still think there was probably some sort of fraudulent behavior in that election, especially when we see that Fulton County got their entire the FBI like seized documents, as well as in Maricopa County and Arizona, where likely a lot of fraud was being taken place. People got arrested over this. But so I do think that there's a lot of merit to that claim there. But honestly, looking back now, I do remember LeBron James and some of these really far left celebrities adamantly supporting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Like in a way that I felt like their endorsement was honestly something that could have been powerful enough to push him over the line. Because you got to think this is the rhetoric they used against Trump, and it was very successful. I mean, they labeled him as this like fascist dictator who called to overthrow the government. I mean, so you're talking about both media, both sides, even the Fox News, everyone went against him.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously he, it's here's the thing. I would actually be more inclined to believe the 2020 election, or if we had the Department of Justice now actually look into that, investigate this. Why are they not doing that? Like to me, it's like I would I'd say I definitely think there was fraud, probably 60-70% chance. But the issue though is like, why is Trump and not prosecuting the people that were behind this? Like, yeah, the most they did is they went and investigated Maricopa County and a few like election offices, but they haven't actually came out with any perp walks. Like they're not really changing anything.
Yeah.
But that's just a small sect of the story. That was
Yeah.
2020 was a big year. So you're talking about
Yeah.
the stolen election is what we called it. You
Yeah.
had the Black Lives Matter riots with George
Yeah. Let's
Floyd. That
talk about
was a
BLM.
total psyop.
Can I just put in a little tidbit to the end of the Trump thing, and then let's talk about BLM? Because
Sure.
I feel like because your open ended part there was, and I can see if I can fill a little bit of that open ended part where it's just like, where's the perp walk and where's kind of people getting in trouble. I feel like what's going on there is it's not that they all do it. I'm not just going to generalize and say, oh, they all do it. So, but maybe it is a little bit of that. And the idea is like, I'm not a politician. I don't think I would ever do that because you have to. Let me know if you disagree with any of this, but it is because some people think, and especially people on the left, they think that, oh, you become a politician or something, it's all you get is positives. You get power, you get money, you get influence, all this stuff. But it is a big sacrifice being like a politician or a civil servant. Like you are putting yourself out there, and you're opening yourself up to the whole world of criticism and all that type of thing. So, in a sense, I think a lot of times why we see such preferential treatment to these people is just because of the sacrifice they're making. And in a sense, just like how I like to see a cop be preferentially treated, like if he beats up a person or if he shoots his gun a little too quickly, I like to see him not get in trouble. Like I don't think Derek Chauvin should be in jail,
Yeah.
any of that type of stuff. So in a sense, I feel like it falls into the same vein where I don't really want to see them get treated too harshly because they are out there trying to be fucking president and trying to be crazy important politicians where dudes will just break into your house with a hammer, like what we saw with the Pelosi husband or whatever. So I like to have a little bit of sympathy for that. And so that's my opinion on filling the gaps of why there's no perp walks. I understand some people would like to see it who are really upset with these people, trying to steal elections. But at the end of the day, my view is that I don't think it matters too much who's really the president. But so stealing this way or that way, it's all just kind of to keep everybody occupied, to keep everybody thinking they have a choice and all that. So anyway, back to you. That's just filling in some of the what I thought were the holes there. If you have anything to add, and then let's talk about BLM.
Yeah, and it's funny because later down the road I came to the same conclusion. That is a uniparty consensus. It's a handshake between both parties to keep everything exactly the same. But go back to 2020, that was a crazy year. You're talking about, like I said, stolen election, BLM. We can start with BLM because that was what really got me into politics and starting my show. I think that was probably the big wake up call.
Yeah.
Because one day you hear this story, and this is a year after I graduated high school. So I think I was 19.
Yeah,
It might have been that
you're
summer.
pretty
I think it
young
was that.
then,
Yeah,
hey?
it was some.
How old are you? You're pretty young, hey?
Yeah, I'm 25. Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool.
25 now. So this would, yes, I mean, as crazy as it was, yeah, it was 6 years ago. So I would have been 19, first summer out of, or I guess my freshman year of college summer. I think I was down at my parents' lake house or something. All of a sudden, I saw this crazy story about racist cop kneels on the neck of helpless black man. And all of a sudden, every single person I went to school with, like almost 90% of people I had on Instagram, felt compelled to post this black screen
Oh,
and like they like were like guilt tripped into it, like having to trip over themselves to cater to
yeah,
people of color because oh my goodness, there's this systemic racism, and
yeah. It was
you
like
know
at
you
the
can't
point.
even walk on the streets as a black man anymore,
Yeah, it
which
was
is
like
total garbage, total psyop.
total psyop. It was at the point where like if you didn't post the black square, you could be like ostracized by your friends. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and it was ridiculous because I was myself. That's kind of where it started with me because I was the one person. I just posted on my Instagram. I said, obviously at the time we didn't have much information. It on its face did look bad because the media painted it that way. So like, you know, I didn't want to come out straight up say like, "You're free Derek Chauvin," like white lives matter. I was like, yeah. So I was like kind of subtle about it. I was like, look, there is one isolated incident is not going to justify systemic racism in our police department or entire United States law enforcement. And of course, just me saying that and posting a screen. Again, it was a picture of just of the black arm and a white arm, just like shaking hands. Like it wasn't a black screen. It was just saying it was like showing white and black
yeah,
coming together. Which
yeah, yeah. That should
that
be a
was like
good
I don't think
method.
you could not be any more unified than doing something like that. But
Yeah,
no, it's because I didn't cater to the politically correct version by putting a black screen and saying, "Oh my goodness, I hate myself if I'm white because I'm white." Oh wow, I want to I'll do anything for George Floyd. It's like it's absolute nonsense. But so
yeah,
many people were guilt tripped into that. Like I'm not kidding. It was like 97%. I mean, you're talking about like I mean, I went to a school of like probably 85% white, 80 maybe 88%. It started to kind of demographics started to slip towards the end.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, yeah. So we predominantly like we're in an all white school, but yet everyone was like. I mean, it was honestly sad to see because
yeah,
I felt like you know as and not to be like this like racialist, but at the same time, it's like as white people, we need to stick up for ourselves and
yeah.
our heritage, our ancestors.
For sure. The
We
white,
like we matter too, right? I mean, and of course,
absolutely.
just because me saying that, I guess it proves that no, we don't matter when it comes to, I guess the systemic level.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, yeah, it's the whole white guilt stuff is really becoming a problem to a point where it's almost like absurd. I just
Yeah.
did a podcast. Maybe you saw it with two very vocal racialists.
Yeah, I know that. What were those guys' name? They interviewed. They were with James Fishback, I think. They did a show with him.
Oh yeah,
I thought,
they're
right?
they're really a big deal. They're growing pretty big, and they're friends with the Hayden McDougal guy. He's that woman propaganda guy who,
Woman propaganda.
yeah,
Yeah,
he got his Instagram taken down. But yeah,
yeah.
these guys are hardcore promoters of white culture, and I mean, if every other race can do it, I feel as though they should be allowed to do it too. And because there needs to be a force to counter some of this white guilt. Like at face value, it does make sense that like because and tell me what you think about this. I'll just say a few things and tell me what you think because we'll talk. Let's talk a little bit about the science because in a sense I accept it and but we do still need to push back. But the idea of the idea of like implicit bias, have you heard of that? Kind of like it's that whole critical race theory stuff. Some people kind of dispel it all and
Yeah.
think
Like eugenics is what you're talking about.
sure, eugenics is more so kind of
Like
guiding.
IQ and race
Yeah,
relations.
sort of eugenics is more so where you kind of like craft a society and you're like cutting out people that are problematic and this and that. But to do with the shit, I lost my train of thought. What was the thing I was gonna talk about?
Yeah, so you're talking about, I believe it was
Oh,
eugenic. It wasn't eugenics. Well, it was basically you
oh,
said it was
implicit
confirmation
bias.
bias. What was
Yes,
it?
sorry. So the idea is that if implicit bias is real, and we're going to accept that it's real, meaning that I don't know if you've seen the video of that of a psychological experiment from like it was like from the '90s or something, where they'll take like a 4-year-old kid and they'll show him just a basic picture of like a white person and a basic picture of a darker skinned person, and the kid will always point at, and this kid hasn't been conditioned; it's a child. They'll point at the darker person and they'll go dirty. So in a sense, a lot of the science is pointing to the idea that implicit bias is real, meaning if you have browner skin, it's likely that you're going to be judged harsher and your life will be harsher. So from that perspective alone, the idea behind white guilt is that we have, as a white person, you're supposed to kind of almost always, if it's a battle, you're having a battle with somebody who is of a darker skin color than you, you're supposed to almost always cede the victory to them in all the battles because we win the war. So I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, is that a fair enough justification for what we're seeing right now in society? Or is it, I think it's about time for some pushback. It's time for a war to be won. We've given up enough battles, I feel
It
like.
is. No, you're
So,
exactly right. I mean, I think it really comes down to the institutions, right? When you have, you know, the SPLC, you have the ADL, you have
Yes.
organizations that predominantly protect Jewish people and people of color, and more, and they literally use their platforms to demonize Christians and those who are white that just simply, I mean, they might even not done anything wrong. They just might have a bad day and say, "Hey, let's target this guy."
Yeah.
So like, it really does come down to the institutional power, right? If we
Yep.
have whether it's like I wouldn't say it's an institution, but here's like a good example of something that's on the ground floor, right? You have, if you've ever heard of, I'm sure you have, it's in Arkansas. There's a town,
Yep.
this guy
Yep.
named Eric Arville. He's
Yep.
created this like white exclusive town that's really in protest of how America is losing our demographics. And I think things like that, because I think the legal deal, whatever the heck happened in Arkansas, like they allowed him to do it. Like they said, it's totally fine. So I think if like you have something like that, and then you have like how there's an ADL, there should be like a Goyim Defense League, like bring
Yeah.
that back. Like you have to have money behind these problems to fix it, and unfortunately, that's the only thing that's going to get the agenda flowing back in the right direction. Which is, again,
Yeah.
not even to say like as a white supremacist leaning so far in our direction, but at least leaning to a point where it's equal grounds for everyone. Again,
Yeah.
I'm someone who I believe we should have no more immigration. I think it is
Yeah.
actually extremely dangerous right now, especially in America, that we're only 57% white, and we're literally not even 50 years away from being the not being the majority in America. And
For
I'm
sure.
actually I fear that, because then we're going
Yeah.
to be a country that's unrecognizable. We're going to be a country that you walk outside and it's going to be nothing but Indian shell stations. There's going to
Yep.
be nothing but Chinese food. It's going to be completely unrecognizable.
It
And we're
might
already
be.
starting to see the consequences of that. It's pushing out. It's the white guilt. It's the pushing out and the ostracization of people that predominantly found in this country and
Yeah.
have
Can I? Yeah.
real
Can I
native
say?
ties.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's something I fear as well. Something I think about a lot as well. Canada's trending in your direction as well. I think we're more up in the 70% area of white. But you know what's something interesting that I thought of, because this is what I do. I'll just put in little tidbits that things I think about every now and then. They're not fully put together thoughts like yours are, but
Go ahead.
it got me a lot of the Islamification of the West has got me thinking more so about 9/11, and I was like, it was almost making me start to understand that that might have been a good force at a certain time. Like maybe we need like another 9/11 in a sense to start to try to unify some people in the West towards a little bit more racialism. You know what I'm saying? Or is
Well,
that
I would
just
say I
wrong?
wouldn't. I'm not going to vouch for any terrorist attacks on U.S.
Yeah.
soil.
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, I would never go that far. But I will say, and a reckoning has to happen, an awakening has to happen, and I think
Yeah.
we're starting to see that. It's small ways, like Instagram Reels, like everyone's getting red pilled on all the things like that. But yeah, again, it's got to go further than that, right? It's got
Yeah.
to be an institutional level. It has to be where you even have people that are in positions of power, whether it's in your parliament or whether it's in our Congress or one of our presidents. Like we have to have someone that will actually stand up for these issues and will not cater to the donors, the political lobbyists that literally have just captured. DC is captured by the lobbyists, by the Israel lobby, the most influential lobby this country's ever seen. Also, you have the immigration guys who just want the Silicon Valley left wing billionaires, those liberal guys that just want more H-1Bs, endless immigration. So none of these guys that really have all the cards have our best interests, especially in
Mhm.
our country.
Yeah.
But that kind of ties back. Yeah, I'm sorry. It ties back into. Actually, I'm sorry. I think you said something about 9/11 and Islamification. Where were you going with that exactly?
I was just talking about like how we can counter that, and I was curious what you might think needs to happen. I know you said the thing about the institutions, and I agree with that. But
For
what do
sure,
you
yeah.
think? What do you think could be done? What kind of ideas do you have that could be done potentially to unify?
Unify Americans or unify globally? Like
Well,
who
unify
exactly?
Americans on wanting a white Christian America and the idea that that is probably what's best for the West. Or do you think that that is lost and that we are going to kind of have to accept that we're just going to trend towards, that these Western countries, since we don't have it, I mean, some people say we do, but we don't necessarily have it in black and white, or because, in Islamic countries, they have Sharia law, and that says that if people don't convert to Muslim, then tax them. Hit them with a jizya. Do you know what a jizya is?
I've heard of it. Is that like a consequence
It's
for,
a
I
yeah,
guess, not abiding by the rules?
it's a tax that a non-Muslim person has to pay if they're in a Muslim country. And I always bring up Russia, but part of the value of Russia is that they have a lot of different races in Russia, but they have one religion. They have one Russian Orthodox, religion. So yeah, that's what the hell are we going to do? So, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, so it's hard because this has been a problem that's been going on for a while. America has always been a secular nation almost since our existence. I will say, like, probably in the first, at least almost till 1803, we at least had the idea of a Christian government. That was the pretext. That was the foundation, arguably. Not like Christian nationalists, but at least a country that collectively celebrates and worships the same God, the same religion. That for sure is not debatable. Now the problem is, you talk about how everything's been captured, like from the financial industry, from entertainment, from health, from, I mean, everything has been totally captured by
education.
these, by people that aren't Christian, right? So when you have these people that control everything like that, they completely take the religion out of our livelihood. Like, they've taken it out of schools, they've taken it out of just public display. It's like, so that's kind of what we have to fix, though. It's really just getting people back to church. I think that's, I mean, kind of a white pill here is that Catholic conversions in America, I think actually not America, worldwide, we're up 70% from 2025 to 2026.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, things like that. Just, I think, in a lot, like, also plays part and parcel with my generation, Gen Z, growing up in the past 6 years and living in this life of hell, almost seeming like we're in the end times. I think that's what's kind of waking people up and realizing it's like, oh wow, yeah, this is extremely flawed world. It might even be too flawed to where we can't even save it, but at least we're gonna have to stand up and try, because if not, what do we have left? If we
Yeah.
can't even afford, if we don't have a country that looks like us, if we don't have the ability to have kids, have a family, own a home, have a retirement, then what are we doing? And I
Yeah.
think that is how you said, like, I'm not saying a 9/11 has to happen, but kind of like a comparison to that would be saying, like, look, it has to be absolute turmoil, absolute horrible things, and the devil showing his face for people to truly wake up and want change. And again, I think we're seeing that. I've seen people stand up who I would have never thought would have been on the right side of this issue a couple years ago. So, and like myself, I've totally changed my perception too. I'm a new Catholic, and I'm someone who I've been a Christian my entire life, but I didn't really start seeing the world for what it is until really the last year and the last couple, I'd say the last three have been really monumental for me. That kind of ties back into this whole conversation of what got me started, because, like I said, 2020, that was probably the most consequential year for all this. Then we go into 2021 when the stolen election, January 6th, happened. So you're talking about the BLM, COVID lockdowns, stolen election, federal informants literally staging this event to make it look like the president was calling to completely overthrow the government,
Yeah.
which in fact did show there were at least 26 federal informants, possibly more, present on January 6th Capitol grounds.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah, I talked to a guy who was actually at the insurrection thing, and yeah, and
Yeah.
I hate it too. The stuff they tried to use against him, where it's just like him making a phone call. Like I heard a lot of the recordings where it's just like him saying, like, what happened? He's just basically asking, like, what's. Yes, he said where he said find the votes. Like he said some stuff, but it's just like also he's just saying what's going on here. Like why isn't this going the way it should? He was really just asking questions to people, and they paint it out to seem like he was trying to tell them to do stuff that was illegal when he wasn't.
Oh yeah, I call it a because people call it a Fed surrection. I call it an informant surrection,
Okay.
because what they did is they literally sent all these, like, they weren't actual feds, they were just regular informants. They were just regular people on the street that were working with the feds, and they chose to dress up in bullhorns and all MAGA gear, just trying to blend in with the crowd. And yeah, it was proven that Ray Epps and a lot of those guys around him incited that riot and got everyone fired up.
Yep.
And again, I would say there is maybe a little bit of fair claim to say Trump might have a tiny bit of responsibility there, because he did not call for violence, but you could at the very least you could say he did call for everyone to go to the ellipse. So, like, but again, that it was out of his control. After that, he called that he did not call for violence, but again, that was the whole point of that being a Fed surrection, informant surrection, whatever you call it, because they were able to discredit the commander in chief. I mean, the sitting commander in chief, they literally committed treason against. I mean,
Exactly. Well, that's why
that is what I saw. That's what I felt,
Me
and I
too.
was enraged by it.
Me too. I've watched the speech probably 10 times, and I would agree. I would say even less than you. Like you say, you think he did a little bit. I really don't. Like the march was already planned for that day. When people are upset, they're going to go and they're going to occupy and try to change things. I thought it was an overwhelmingly peaceful situation. whether you compare it to BLM or whether you compare it to anything, just at face value, it was very peaceful. Like no violence really happened. And I don't think, when I see that speech, I don't think he was calling for anything bad. And that's why they got pardoned, right? When I talked to this other
Mhm.
fella, his name is escaping me right now, but he actually was there on January 6th, and he says all the same things that you're reporting, which is, there was people there who were paid actors, and pulling windows off of the place, and they weren't even they were paid to do it. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. They got pardoned, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I completely support that. That was actually one of my biggest things that I guess congratulated or was supportive of Trump was that he actually pardoned like 95 to 99% of all J6 protesters, besides a couple of guys, which I still think they should have been anyways, because that was a total Fed slop narrative. That was so much manipulation and deception going on there. If people on Epstein's island, Epstein's list can't be prosecuted, I think we can look the other way with people from a federal setup framing of treason of the commander in chief. So
Yeah,
it has to be a two-way justice system because we don't have that in America. I think it's blatantly clear.
yeah,
But again, like this is where it's a turning point for me, because that's when I really felt like, oh my goodness, like they just framed the commander in chief. I have to do whatever I can to step in, build a profile, use my whatever power I have, use that to at least try to make change, if that even does make a difference. So that's
we're
where
in
I
the same
started,
boat.
and
We're in the same boat, man.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, we're in the same boat. I felt the
Yeah,
same way, and I tried to do the same thing. Obviously, I was about 5 years ahead of you, but I felt the same way. Like when I saw the Charlie Kirk stuff or whatever it may be. Can I ask you about one little? This one's is taboo, so if you don't want to say too much about it, it's totally fine. But
go ahead. Yeah,
I've
I'm an
got a
open
fun
book.
little a little dynamite to drop into the conversation, if that's okay.
You're right
Um,
ahead.
to do with the Epstein stuff. Because you said a lot, you just said, yeah, because it does seem at this point like we are kind of just going to look the other way. Like it doesn't seem like we're ever going to just have prosecutions for these people because of the idea of, I guess, potentially they had their own laws on that island. And then from what I've seen, like I watched a few documentaries on it. And by the way, what I'm about to say might be completely wrong. So anybody out there who knows more than me about Epstein, fine, just, comment on it and tell me how I'm wrong. But my understanding of it was there was very few people that they were. I understand the problem is that they were sex trafficked. I mean, they were paid money, and then hey, come over here to do sex stuff, and then that's illegal. I get that, but the age thing, the whole pedophile claim part of it, for me, is a bit tricky because I don't know if did you just see Russell Brand's recent thing that Russell Brand, that celebrity guy, he came out recently and he did
Yeah,
that big expose about how he's had sex with a 16-year-old. Did you see
yeah, he
that?
was on Piers Morgan. I watched that one, Piers Morgan, the other day.
Yeah, yeah, and so the idea is that there's these different ages of consent, and I mean, I think in France the age of consent might be 12 or something like that. So there's these developed countries that have these very young ages of consent, and my understanding of Epstein Island was that they were almost all above the age of 16. I think from the documentary there was a few, like half a dozen, that were maybe 14 or something, which is a problem. But most of these people, there was hundreds of girls involved in this. They were all mostly 17, 18. So it's like, are we going to be throwing all these people in jail over that? I don't know. And that's, I think, why we're seeing, as you said, a lot of looking the other way and no real prosecutions. Because, sure, the island was right beside the United States, but what the hell was the age of consent that we're going to put onto this guy's island that he owns? Because I think he's allowed to make his own laws on that island, isn't he? I mean,
Well, it was hypothetically, yes, but he's in jurisdiction of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
okay.
But you bring up an excellent point there, because I think that's probably one of the fairest points to bring up there in criticism of why this hasn't happened. Because yeah, you are right. There are a lot of those women were either at the age of consent or just before. Again, I don't condone what happened. Absolutely abhorrent. I think
Yeah,
it
hey,
shouldn't
hey,
have
I
happened.
brought it up.
And
This is why I'm the comedian. I brought it up. You didn't say anything, so.
yeah, but I'm good way to put it. But yeah, so I think it's because I've talked to one of the survivors, and she was 16 at the time, and she was trafficked at the New Mexico ranch.
Wow,
And
you
she,
talked to one of them, hey?
yeah, and I'm sad enough. I think I forgot her name.
I'm
Oh my
bad with
goodness.
names too. I couldn't remember the insurrectionist guy's
She
name.
has
So
it's a three. She has her name and her husband's name. It's like a mixed together name, but I'm gonna pull it up.
I should pull up
Um,
this insurrectionist guy's name too. I feel bad right now. What?
yeah, but yeah, because I mean, kind of change subject real quick. But I actually interviewed Cash Jackson. He was at J6. And what was his name? Jake. I talked to Jake Lang once. He was one of the guys that was there as well.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah,
but yeah, so but anyways, I'm sorry, I totally was switching subjects there, but
yeah. No worries.
yeah, I know we were talking about with Epstein. Yeah, the issue with that is it's the thing, the documentary, like the Netflix one, like the Filthy Rich. What they tell you is that they pretty much only show the girls that were, like you said, 17, 18, 16-ish. And yeah, on itself, like, yeah, you could say, let's just say that they're adults and they had the consent of adults. It's not even that that's a problem. It's actually deeper than that, because it's the fact that we've created a system. There's been a system that happened that was exploiting women with money. And I think that's why that's why exploitation, that's why there's a lot of, laws against financial crimes and really financial acts, because they can be exploited. And that's just like how I consider OnlyFans nowadays. It's like, if you can bribe someone with enough money, especially a woman like that, to do whatever that may be, whether it's recruiting others, whether it's sexual acts, it's not, there's a reason that's illegal, because bribery is, and just like we see in politics, it's extremely incentivized. And because people will, whether it's money, whether it's just something they want, it's very easy to get people to sell out. So that's kind of part of the problem. The other part of the problem is the documents that came out. It did show that there were people there were kids that were young as like 4 or 5 years old
Oh
that were
wow.
listed in the documents. I mean, some of the worst things I saw were, I mean, human trafficking, child sacrifice. I mean, some of these things are unsubstantiated because there's no actual photos of them, but I mean, you're talking about emails from Jeffrey Epstein to some of his clients to people that are still roaming the streets today.
Yeah.
And it's so it's kind of, it's a not double edged sword. It's more of two issues, two isolated issues. It's the really the women that were assaulted and that were harmed in that process, and in the trafficked, but it's also how Epstein was able to use these women for a bigger operation to blackmail very important and influential people in our political system and in our economy, like people at the top. And that was the whole point of that, because he bribed these women. These women do whatever he wants, and he had this very elaborate network, which he had to have been working with intelligence agencies. No debate there. He was able to use this entire deal to, I mean, manipulate foreign policy, manipulate U.S. president's decision. Not just one, but at least two. I mean, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were friends with Epstein at the time, and at a time, and have literally, at least at one point, been involved in. I mean, with Trump, it was less political at the time because he didn't get to politics till later. But with especially Bill Clinton, I mean, this dude was, I think he made 17 Oval Office trips.
Yeah.
And the craziest, here's kind of a crazy story with that, with Clinton and Epstein.
Yeah.
So the guy that facilitated 7 of the 17 meetings in the Oval Office that Epstein had with Bill Clinton, this guy's name is Mark Meadows, or was Mark Meadows. In 2022, this guy he has a farm, lives on a farm.
Okay.
He was found hanging from a tree with a shotgun wound to the chest, and supposedly the shotgun, because of recoil, went 30 feet away from his body. And they found him
Wow.
on his farm. Keep in mind, hanging from a tree, shotgun wound to the chest, shotgun 30 feet away, and they ruled it a suicide.
Wow. I mean, it would be pretty hard to turn a shotgun at yourself and shoot it. I guess it might blast away. I'm not really sure. I haven't shot enough shotguns really.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It is possible. Like I've done the research on that. Like a shotgun recoil could go up to like 10 to 15, even 30 feet, but 30 feet is kind of stretching it. That's like, I don't know. I mean, especially when you take in the details of that, it's like, it totally reeks of suspicion. And that really speaks to the bigger deal here. Is because like things like that have been, this like cartel mafia, I feel like Epstein mafia, whatever it is, like it has been operating in our country for several decades and has gotten its ways to the highest levels of institutions and in our government.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why I have so many issues today. And I mean, really in a deeper sense, it kind of goes back to why white people are being persecuted. But again, it's really because we have, if you have a foreign spy like Epstein, that it completely undermines our sovereignty as a nation.
Yeah.
And especially in 2008, he got a sweetheart deal with Alex Acosta, who ended up being the labor secretary in Trump's first term, and Alan Dershowitz, who is known as Epstein's lawyer, who to this very day will defend Epstein.
Yeah.
And basically to give him a deal that didn't allow him to go to prison for a long time after he was arrested for solicitation of prostitution of a minor in 2008.
Yep.
He spent his 1.5 year in jail, which he should have got more than that.
Mm-hmm.
12 hours a day he was out on work release. So he was out like on helicopters, hanging out, running his side illegal business. and the other 12 hours a day he was incarcerated in
Yeah.
like a really nice jail.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, and that's where the whole the Epstein. I can go on and on about the Epstein things. I think that's the biggest case of blackmail, espionage, trafficking in this country has ever seen.
Yeah, for sure, man. I agree. Just to give that guy his credit, the insurrectionist I was talking about was Roger Rebagilia. I'm curious, man.
Okay.
Did you go to university?
No, actually, I'm a community college guy. I went
Okay,
to Gateway Community College. Yeah, I did not go to university. So,
so you didn't get
uh,
infected by modern university secularism, then?
oh, absolutely not. But I wouldn't have either way. I've been very set to my own beliefs, and I mean, I had a couple of liberal professors even when my days in community college. But I mean, they had no like. It wasn't like they were changing my mind and then indoctrinating all these beliefs that I need to hate myself and I need to be this radical leftist or something. Like I was never a victim of that. And although I know many people that are,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was a two year university. Started my business and podcast after that, and
Cool.
that's where I'm at today.
What's your before I ask about your business? Did you growing up? Did you play any sports?
Yeah, yeah. So I played baseball, basketball. I played 1 year football, but yeah, I was primarily a baseball guy. I had
Yeah,
one
you look
college
like a
offer, and
baseball player. Yeah, that would have been
oh,
my
you were
guess.
as well.
I played a little bit of baseball, but I mostly played hockey, as you could guess from Canada.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, yeah. We didn't have much hockey down in Kentucky,
Yeah.
but
So what's your business?
yeah, well, I mean, it's Casey Allen Show. Technically, legally, it's called
Oh,
Casey Allen Studios. So it's a combination of my podcast, all my short channels, subscription channels, everything I have together. And I'm actually building a website, and I have a community page, but X is about to take it down because there's X is changing the communities feature for some reason, which I'm kind of pissed about. But yeah, so I've been doing that since then. I'm now at a point where I have such large viewership and so many eyeballs that I'm really just trying to find or either create a product of my own, whether that be like an energy drink, whether it be like, I mean, I've got some clothes and merchandise, but no, I really just want to have something signature of my own. That's I've like a product, more like a health product, maybe like a mushroom coffee, energy drink, something that's like
yeah.
my brand and I can use and I can obviously just promote with my. I'm probably getting, to be honest, I think I'm at better months than previous months. I was about 100 million views a month. I'm probably like 60, 70, maybe 80.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
45 alone just
Yeah.
from
Yeah, it
threads.
might be a good idea to start selling a product. Like you said, I just talked to a guy.
Yeah.
He's got 150,000 subscribers on Instagram. Okay. I just talked to this guy in one of my last podcasts. It's not out yet, but his name is Alex Tarvana. And
Mhm.
he's done an interview with Dr. Drew. Like he's doing pretty well. But honestly, that's why you got to make sure you pick a good product, I guess, if you're going to sell it, because he sells. Have you heard of like hydrogen water? He calls himself an inventor because he's invented the first open cup hydrogen supplement. So it's like you put hydrogen in your water. It's like a tablet, and you drink it, and apparently it's really good for you. I'm not sure, but the whole
Wow.
time I was interviewing him, man, to be honest with you, I was sniffing a whole lot of bullshit. So it's like if you sell products, that's great if you can make money off it, but also I guess don't get bogged down too much into it because ultimately a lot of the snake you don't want to be the snake oil salesman guy, you know?
Oh,
Like
for sure. And that's where there's a whole lot of grifting, and
yeah,
especially
yeah.
in politics, not even in politics, really just content creation. Every single niche, there is always a grifter that,
Yeah.
which is, I would say it is what it is. I get it. You're trying to sell a product, you're trying to make money. It's the market, it's competition. Totally support that. But I mean, me personally, that's why I said that's why I haven't done that. Even with my massive platform, I could do that. I could probably partner with some, low quality brand or just make a few bucks. But no, that's why I said I'm really devoted into thinking about this. And before I put anything in my name, uh, this is actually a product for sale. Like I'm going to make sure one, I completely back it. I'm for it. It's safe. And yeah, it's not going to be like screwing people over like I see all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, like
Well,
someone like me, like, it wouldn't be anything too complex. I mean, my idea right now is my own form of mushroom coffee with I got my own kind of blend of different mushrooms that have been created before. That kind of a new formula. That's my idea.
fair enough. Well, yeah, it's like Spider-Man, because it's like with great power comes great responsibility because I mean, like you're like a super handsome guy. So I think no matter what you do, you're probably going to be really successful at it. But
I
one thing I
appreciate it.
noticed was on your cheek there, you have like what's that on your cheek right there? I think it's like oh yeah, they call that Zachary disease. Have you ever heard of that?
Zachary disease. No,
Yeah.
what's that?
No, it's where your face looks exactly like your butt.
Really? Well, I guess that's good to know. See, I'm trying to. Where exactly do you see that? I can't even
No,
see
I'm
my
kidding.
face right now.
It's a joke, dude. I waited all episode to drop that joke.
See, you got me because I can't even see my face. I'm just like, well, shit. I literally thought I had like food on my face or something. I'm like, oh
No,
shit.
no, I know it works. You should use that on your buddies, dude. It's the funniest one. You go, you see your jawline there? You've got that thing on your jaw. You know that? And they go, what are you talking about? Oh, this thing? And you go, yeah, that's Zachary disease. And they go, what's Zachary disease? You go, your face looks exactly like your butt.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
hey,
Is
sorry, I'm
that
trying
your
to
own
light.
like? Is
I'm
that your
trying.
trademark? Is that your own joke you came up with yourself?
Hey, no, it isn't. I'm copying it from somebody else, but
That's pretty good. That's still pretty good though. You got me off guard there. I was like, oh shit. I literally thought I had something on my face.
just trying to lighten up the mood a little bit.
No, that
So
was a good idea. Yeah, you have to throw some comedy in here for sure. Because like I
exactly.
said, a lot of things I talk about on a daily basis are so complex, so serious. Honestly, more sad than not. But it's like,
Yeah, I think we're a,
no,
we're a
you
good.
gotta have fun though. Like I said, the whole retard maxing thing. It's like I do fully embrace that
Yeah,
nowadays.
I think we're a good team in that sense because we you've got the seriousness, I've got the other part of it. But hey, I was serious about the handsome thing. You're a handsome guy. I think that you're going to be successful no matter what. 100 million views. Did you say a month? That is unbelievable.
Yeah, and half of that just from Threads. The Thread is Instagram platform. I get that just from Threads alone. So that's half of my viewership just from there.
Wow.
And YouTube fluctuates. YouTube is actually the hardest place to get consistent viewership because you're competing against actual news companies.
Yeah.
But again, I'm doing pretty well there. Probably 300,000, 500,000, sometimes a million a month.
Nice.
TikTok short form is where I'm really killing it, especially TikTok. I have a really big Twitter page. So what I've done is way different than most other people in my field and social media influencers that are kind of young. It's like a lot of people in my generation, they just have one platform. They're just like, they've got their one Instagram, their one TikTok, their one YouTube. It's like, well, I've actually got my eggs in all different baskets. I've got a Twitter account with 18,000, Threads with almost 15, YouTube podcast with 15, TikTok 28. And I've got like a plethora of other smaller platforms too. Like I've got like platforms like Clapper or like Lemon, like things you'd never heard of because like just in case they get banned,
Yeah.
I've got like I've got like an arsenal on deck.
Yeah, it's good to be on all the platforms. Hey, social media. There's a lot of them out there nowadays. Threads is kind of like Instagram's Twitter, right? Like they're kind of trying to be like Twitter
Yeah,
in a
I
way.
would call it left wing Twitter. I think it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah, fair enough.
it's
Yeah, I've been trying to get more into the right wing platforms like I don't know what are they, Rumble and Truth Social and stuff like that. I
True
don't really
Social
have.
sucks. That's True Social was good when everyone was banned on Twitter before Elon had it. So like True Social kind of fell off.
Okay.
Rumble is still good. I post my censored shows on there. I used to do my show primarily on Rumble, but they're just not paying me enough. So
Yeah.
they're also they haven't given me a deal. So I'm just like I mean, I'll just go to YouTube. I'm a YouTube partner, so I was like whatever. I'll hang out there for now until
Yeah.
something happens. But no, I mean I do support Rumble. I mean I still use it. I still am active on it. I'm a subscriber to Rumble Premium, so I support the whole cause there. And it's really like it's what's good about that is you have like a lineup of like Russell Brand, Glenn Greenwald, Steven Crowder, like all the former big political YouTube commentators. They have now like a lineup every weekday in order. So like Rumble's got its own network now.
Yeah, Rumble's gaining
And
steam for sure.
yeah, yeah. So big supporter of Rumble. I've got a couple T-shirts. But yeah, I mean, I really think that like the whole right wing, what do they call it, like the alt media, alt right media, a lot of that stuff's kind of faded. It's more like because I think really because censorship itself has receded. You're seeing a lot of these platforms like Meta, YouTube, and TikTok kind of want to control the monopoly still. So that's where it forces their hand. They have to inevitably have some free speech. They have to reinstate some people.
Yeah,
And
for
if they
sure.
don't, they're gonna have like a Rumble where you have someone like a Nick Fuentes who just completely takes over the platform and is the number one guy because they completely shut down his ideas
Yeah,
and canceled him.
for
So
sure.
and that's a power. I really do think they're important. Even like I mean, I think True Social recently is not doing well. Trump just recently fired Devin Nunes, the CEO and the founder, because of their poor stock performance.
Okay.
And True Social is honestly, I'll at least give them credit. They gave me a red check mark, which I don't even know how. Like I didn't even do anything for that. So at least they gave me a verification, but it's like it is a really piss poor app. It sucks. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing. You can't live stream. You can't watch videos. It's like it's nothing but everyone's got every account you find in there. It's everyone's like a Trump profile picture. Like
Yeah. Yeah, fair
it's like
enough.
it's just like MAGAville basically. So
Yeah, fair enough.
but yeah, that's kind of going. I guess kind of going back to the whole. It's kind of funny, kind of tying it back into everything. Um, where I kind of separated from Trump wasn't until really November of 2024, a month after he won the election. So prior to that, I was, like I said, 21, was the J6. Biden takes over for 3, 4 years. Horrible state in our country. one of the most demented and out of pocket presidents we've ever had.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't run a second time.
Yeah.
And
Did you see
that's
those
where I started my
plaques?
show. And
Did you see those
I'm sorry, what was
plaques?
that?
Did you see those plaques that Trump put up at the White House, and the one that he wrote about Sleepy Joe Biden?
Yeah, was it the auto pen one or what
Yeah,
was it?
yeah, yeah. I thought
Yeah,
those were
oh yeah,
pretty
that's
funny.
awesome, man.
It's crazy that he can just do that. That's a pretty funny thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, he's customized. I would say like for the better for the worse, this dude has customized the White House in a way no one's ever seen before. Like
Yeah,
putting
the
gold
U.S.
every. I do like the. I think I do like. Objectively speaking, I like the gold. I think it's pretty cool look. I
Yeah.
mean,
Do you think, are you going to watch the UFC event that he has coming up?
yeah, I'll probably do like a live stream reaction to it.
Nice.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be cool. I'm really interested to see like just how that goes, but it's gonna be really performative. I'm sure it's just gonna be like.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I'm not gonna be a hater as much as I've been against Trump and the administration. Now it's like I'm
Yeah.
still gonna enjoy. I'm gonna be an American. I'm still gonna enjoy what we have here.
For sure.
But again, really, it wasn't until after supporting Trump during his lawfare, going against Biden, everything they did against him, and then for him to say no new wars, mass deportations, we're gonna bring down the national deficit, we're gonna do all these things to make housing more affordable, basically have a light at the end of the tunnel for Gen Z. Well, none of those things have happened,
Yeah.
and that's where I mean, I really did. I will say I went as far to call for Trump's impeachment even last summer during the Operation Midnight Hammer, where we attacked. It was a joint strike of U.S. and Iran, or U.S. and Israel against Iran the first time without congressional approval. Which again, you're required to get congressional approval, and he's done it twice now. So I called for his impeachment in 25. But really, going back is that my first red flag after he was elected. Really was going up to it because I was picking the lesser of two evils. Didn't want Harris and Biden. Couldn't have that again. But I did know I was very suspicious of how Trump took $230 million from Miriam Adelson, who's said herself that she is Israel first and does not care about America. I mean, she cares about America, but like cares about making money from us. So yeah, I got a big red flag from that one, but I didn't realize that this would entail the entire administration, his entire foreign policy, like. But it really shows that money talks. And
Hmm.
his entire cabinet, the month after he was elected in November 24, he filled it with all neocons, just like the first time around. Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi, Susie Wiles, who worked on Benjamin Netanyahu's election campaign in 2020, Kash Patel, Bongino, like all these like random and deep state guys. And all of them, of course, did. I mean, some of them have lost their jobs already 15 months in. Chrissy Noem, Pam Bondi, I'm sure Kash Patel and Lutnick are next, but
Yeah, they're
it has been
trying to
absolute.
slander Cash Patel right now with saying that he's drunk all the time. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot better things to go after Kash Patel for, like why he covered up the Epstein files and lied about that under oath. I mean, which he could be in jail for. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, he was on video at a hockey game drinking like a goon, like whatever. I mean,
Yeah, whatever.
I really don't. I really don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
I think probably some of the best FBI directors in our day probably did drink a little bit on the job. Not to say that that's okay, but it's like
Yeah, it'd be a tough
uh,
job. It would be a tough job. You want to have a few shots of vodka every now and then, I
yeah, I
imagine.
mean, yeah. So, like, out of all my, it's so goofy because out of all my criticism I have for someone like Cash Patel, it's definitely not that. Like, I'll criticize him for how he's suing Elijah Schaefer and other podcasters $5 million for calling his girlfriend a Mossad honeypot, and then he's what is it? Yeah, that's 250 million or $250,000 lawsuit, whatever it was. I think it's $1 million against I guess whatever media company said that about him. It's just like, come on, dude, like.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And again, at the same time, it's like they're so worried about things that don't matter, but they could care less about prosecuting a single one of Epstein's clients. Like there is literally files out there that they chose not to release. They were forced to legally, still haven't even released all of them according to the law.
Yeah.
And they choose to not prosecute anyone. And it's right in their hands. Like
Yeah. That's crazy.
it's an absolute joke. But
That's crazy.
again, I think that's the whole white pill because everyone's seeing this, both sides. And my prediction here, I mean, might have to bookmark this. 2027, Trump will be impeached.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's going to happen.
Fair enough. Well, with that, dude, we've been talking for almost 2 hours. I will say, we can have a kind of an intermediate stop here with the episode. I will say thanks so much for talking to me today, man. Thanks for all your thoughts and, teaching me all this stuff. Anybody, if you want to go find Kacee Allen, he's on all platforms. Like he said, he's got the Kacee Allen show, Kacee Allen on Kacee. Is it R Allen? Kacee?
Oh yeah. Kacee R. Allen's all my personal accounts.
Yep. So Kacee R Allen, you can go find him everywhere. His website's to come, right? And that'll be probably KaceeAllen.com or.
Yes, sir. I have the domain in my name right now, so that'll be that. And for now, like it's youtube.com/@Kacee Show. We have all shows and everything on there. We'll have a collaboration, and I'll clip this one myself to get as much views as we can out of this.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, that's it. Thanks for coming on the show today, man. That's Canadian Talk.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it for having me.